You know those moments when you're trying so hard to impress someone that you feel like your brain is short-circuiting? You're tossing out all kinds of stuff that sounds good in your head, but in reality, it's just awkward. I've been there. A lot. And let me tell you, it never works. So why do we all do it? Look, if you've ever tried to be someone you're not to get a girl's attention, you're not alone. But what if I told you that the best way to win her over isn't by pretending to be someone else? It's by just being you. Yeah, you heard me right. Just you. I know it sounds easy, but trust me, I get it. The pressure to be this perfect guy who has it all figured out can be overwhelming. You think you need to look a certain way, act a certain way, or be into all the things she's into to catch her attention. But, and I say this from personal experience, that's a one-way ticket to awkward town, and you're definitely not gonna win any prizes there. So, in today's video, we're gonna talk about why being yourself is not only the best way to attract a girl, but the only way to do it. And I'm going to share some stories from my own life where I learned this lesson the hard way. Trust me, you'll want to stick around, because if I can do it, so can you. Let me take you back to the first time I tried to be someone I wasn't. It was high school, and I had this crush on a girl named, let's call her Jess. Jess was cool. She was smart, funny, and way out of my league. But I wasn't about to let that stop me. I had a plan. I thought, okay, if I could just show her how intelligent I am, she'd totally like me. So I'll start reading books about things I didn't care about at all. Like philosophy. Big, deep stuff. You know, like the kind of books that make you sound like a genius when you quote them. Aristotle, Nietzsche, those guys. I remember sitting in the library, all serious, with this book about existentialism that I hadn't even opened yet. I was just skimming the chapters so I could throw out a couple of quotes in conversation. I thought I was being so impressive. I imagined Jess looking at me like, wow, this guy is deep. He's different. I need to know him. It was so obvious. I wasn't being genuine. I wasn't talking to her about anything I actually cared about. I wasn't being me. I was trying to be some weird intellectual version of myself that didn't even exist. You can probably guess how that turned out. We had a conversation, and halfway through, Jess looked at me and said, you know, I don't think you really like that stuff, do you? Cringe. That was the moment I realized that trying to be someone I wasn't was not only exhausting, but it was completely pointless. I wasn't connecting with her on a real level. I was just trying to impress her. With a version of me that didn't even exist. And guess what? It backfired. So, why am I telling you this? Because in that moment, I learned something that I wish I'd known earlier. The best way to attract someone, not just a girl, but anyone, is to be yourself. And I know, you're probably thinking, Steve, I've heard that before. But how do I actually do that? Well, let me tell you. It's not as complicated as we make it. Here's the deal. When you're yourself, you're not trying to force a connection. You're not pretending to be someone else. You're showing up as your authentic self, and that's what draws people in. Not the fake version of you that you think will impress someone. Not the cool guy persona. Not the guy who's reading books just to quote them in front of people. Now let's be clear. Being yourself doesn't mean you have to be perfect. In fact, being yourself means embracing the parts of you that aren't perfect. The awkward moments, the quirks, the weird jokes, the random interests. It's those things that make you you, and guess what? People love that. I get it though. It's tempting to play games. We've all been there. You start acting differently when you're around someone you like, thinking it's going to impress them. You think, I'll play it cool, or I'll keep some distance so they want me more. But honestly, all that is just exhausting. And guess what? It doesn't work. At least, not in the long run. Now, I'm not saying you should just drop all your boundaries or act like a mess around someone you like. You still want to show respect and be considerate. But trying to be someone you're not, just to get a reaction, will only leave you drained, frustrated, and probably even more confused about who you are. Trust me, I've spent way too many nights lying awake, wondering if I said the right thing, or if I was cool enough. But here's the thing, When you're yourself, you don't have to worry about that. You're not trying to be someone you're not, and you'll find that the right people will appreciate you just the way you are.